Tonight we've come south to beautiful Pompano Beach, Florida for the $496,000 2-year-old Colt and gelding Trot. Breeders' Crown 86 is being brought to you by Castleton Farm, a tradition of excellence. By North American Standardbred Sales Company. And by the nationwide investment firm of First Jersey Securities. Come grow with us. In past years, this race has served as a catapult to the year-end divisional honors. 2 years ago, at the Red Mile at Lexington, Workaholic exploded in the stretch to take the first ever Breeders' Crown event for driver Bert Lindstedt. In 157-1, beating such trotting stars as Practice and Another Miracle. Last year, John Campbell guided Express Ride to victory, ensuring the 2-year-old trotting championship. This tally coming at the Meadows in Pennsylvania at the expense of Royal Prestige and Farm King. Will tonight provide such dramatics? Most fans and horsemen are expecting a true classic. And the setting for the showdown of the year in the 2-year-old trotting set is right here. And 2 world champions are here, Mack Lobell and Buckfinder. But it is by no means a 2-horse race tonight. The competition is deep and tough. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Johnson. And as is often the case with 2-year-old trotters, it's not the bloodlines or the early season performances that turn out to be important. It's what have you done for me lately? And even though we have 2 champs, we also have Trotters and Waikiki Beach. Both have strong support and a lot of credentials for an upset. So throw in a few long shots, and it all adds up to the richest 2-year-old event in Florida horse racing history. Ellie Sarama and Alan Kirschenbaum are my partners on the broadcast, and we'll be back with the color, the excitement, the action of Breeders' Crown 86 after these messages from the folks that made it all possible. And here's the morning line for the Breeders' Crown. We have Sandman Lobell starting at 25-1 at the rail and Hawk and Wallner drives. Manor Victory with Trevor Ritchie at 12 from post 2. Carl Allen drives Crown Sweep 25-1. Jan Nordin with Spotlight Lobell at 15. Buckfinder with Bill O'Donnell 4-1 morning line. C. Louis Lomont at 20-1 with Ulf Nordin. And we have Neville Olympian, the 7-horse, at 8-1 with George Schulte. The starting morning line favorite is number 8, Mack Lobell with John Campbell. The 9-horse, BJ's Superstar with Ron Waples, starts at 6. 6 also the price of Trotters with Jimmy Takter. And number 11, Waikiki Beach with Jim Doherty at 5-1. Joining us on the broadcast is trainer Ellie Sarama. And Ellie, not just competition among the colts, but a race against the clock tonight, too.
Well, Mack Lobell's coming into this race with 2 world records in his pocket, one on a half-mile track and the other on a mile. If by chance he can win this race tonight, he'll be the only 2-year-old ever. If he does it in world record time, he'll be the only 2-year-old trotter ever to hold the world record on all 3-sized racetracks.
And what time is he shooting at this evening?
Well, he has to beat 1:58-1, so therefore he'd have to go in 1:58 or better.
Okay, we'll be watching the clock, too. And, Ellie, what makes this such a good race?
Well, there's also Buckfinder in this race. And 2 months ago, he set the world record on a mile track until Mack Lobell came along and broke it. And then there's Trotters and Waikiki Beach. They're starting from the 2nd tier, but they're both sharp and they're top colts.
Let's take a look now at the field. They're on the track for the post-parade. Sandman Lobell, the 1-horse with Hawk and Wallner.
A son of Speedy Crown, campaigning mainly on the New York Sire Stakes circuit. He tallied over $100,000 in earnings, but post position 1 won't help him.
Number 2 is Manor Victory with Trevor Ritchie.
From the first crop of Speedbowl, this lightly raced colt has only 6 lifetime starts with 4 wins to his credit. He puts on some impressive races, and he could be anything at this stage in his career.
Ellie, what do you think of the 3-horse Crown Sweep?
He took a lifetime best of 1:59-2 in a New York Sire Stakes race at Syracuse, but he's an erratic colt, and he's had some difficulty staying on gate, and he faces some really tough competition in here.
And one of the competition, Spotlight Lobell, the 4-horse with Jan Nordin.
This son of Speedy Smoley is a New Jersey Sire Stakes winner and always seems to manage to pay his way by earning checks in most of his starts. Tonight it should be no different because he's done well against this caliber of horse.
And one of the horses who's getting some support at the Mutual windows is is the 5-horse. Buckfinder, and Bill O'Donnell jumps in the bike wearing the blue, white, and orange colors.
What a sensational colt, sired by Super Bowl. He has 7 wins out of 13 starts, and he is one of the 4 horses that Team Nordin has in here. I would have to say he seems to be at his peak and in top form coming into this race, and should be Mack Lobell's main competition.
C. Louis Lomont is the 6-horse, and Ulf Nordin drives.
A son of another first-crop sire, Balanced Image. This colt is an Ontario Sire Stakes winner and has done more than pay his way by banking over $170,000. But he may find this field a bit tougher than his Canadian competition.
And just behind and out of the paddock now is Neville Olympian with George Schulte.
The Neville Holiday stable owns such great horses as Neville Thunder and Neville Pride, and this colt has done well for him. He's a Kentucky Sire Stakes winner, and 10 out of his 15 starts, he's been in the money.
And the big horse, as far as the morning line and the folks here think, is Mack Lobell. The rigging being set, John Campbell gets in the bike. It's the number 8 horse.
Well, you're looking at him, the fastest 2-year-old trotter of all time. From the first crop of Mystic Park, he's the richest horse in the field with over $400,000 in earnings. His performances have been nothing less than tremendous. He was only a $17,000 yearling, proving once again that you don't have to be a millionaire to make money in the harness racing business.
That's Mack Lobell, and that's BJ's Superstar, the 9-horse with Ronnie Waples.
This baby raced here last week at Pompano against a field of aged trotters and just did get nipped at the wire by a nose. And it's a very tough assignment, Dave, for a 2-year-old to race against older horses, but he's really handicapped by drawing post position 9.
And a tough assignment is being in the 2nd tier, and that's Sir Taurus, number 10, with Jimmy Takter, who will start from just behind the number 1 horse.
Well, he had a little rest since his last start in Lexington, but he comes up with a big qualifying race, setting the track record here for 2-year-old trotters, winning by 18 lengths and trotting a very fast last quarter in 28-2. He seems to be sharp and ready to take on this competition.
And there is Waikiki Beach, the 11-horse with Jim Doherty.
Considered to be the 2nd stringer in the Chucky Sylvester stable, but last week he upset Mack Lobell, the number 1 colt in the barn. And all he needs to do is overcome his trailer position, and he should be a main competitor in here.
So that's it. 11 2-year-old trotters ready to go for almost $500,000. Stay with us. We'll be back here in southern Florida with Breeders' Crown action after these important words. As we take a look at the current odds, the folks here at Pompano have spread their major support at the mutual windows over number 5, Buckfinder, number 8, Mack Lobell, number 10, Sir Taurus, and number 11, Waikiki Beach. Now let's go to another member of our broadcast team. Here's Alan Kirschenbaum with a closer look at the main contenders.
The 1986 crop of 2-year-old trotting colts have been described by no less an authority than John Nordin as the best in history. They are certainly the fastest in history. And while several of these colts, namely Waikiki Beach, Sir Taurus, and I think Spotlight Lobell has a little shot of winning here, the race really boils down to 2 brilliant colts, 2 premier trainers, and the 2 best drivers in the sport. Mack Lobell has been nothing short of sensational in 1986 and is far and away the richest of the Breeders' Crown trotters. Trained by Chucky Sylvester, who has managed an outstanding group of horses in the past few years, Mack has been one of the wisest $17,000 that Lou Guida has ever spent. Shown here trotting the fastest mile ever by a freshman trotter, he has drawn atrociously. He has the 8-hole, but his quick acceleration and rugged determination could provide John Campbell with his first crown of 1986. And there's Buckfinder, who has credentials to spare and had taken over the class when the Grand Circuit went to the Midwest. This race coming up was at Lexington, and it was a very impressive one, as was a subsequent race after that. He will trot over a top field of horses, including Sir Taurus on the rail there. But the start after this one was dull. It was a dull third, 8 lengths behind Mack Lobell, and he has not raced in over a month. Just incidentally, his caretaker, Marcia Hamilton, is shooting to become the first groom to win 2 Breeders' Crowns. She took care of 1984 Breeders' Crown champion Baltic Speed. There's an old adage that goes something like, once you reach the top, there's only one way to go. But this week's Jewel of the Crown has destroyed that theory. They reached the top of the sport in their native Sweden and then set their sights on America, where their ascent has been meteoric. Ellie Sarama takes a close look at this week's Jewel of the Crown, Team Nordin.
Harness racing a team sport? You bet. And one of the hottest teams around is Team Nordin, the prolific trotting stable that in only 6 years has accomplished more than most stables will in 60. The team leader is Soren Nordin, the legendary Swedish horseman who has spent 50 years perfecting his art. Naturally, his son Jan found a convenient entrance to the sport.
Through my father. He's been in the business for almost 50 years now, and it was pretty natural for me, since I wasn't all that bright in school, to start as a groom with him, and a couple of years later as a second trainer, and from then on everything went well.
Like modern-day Vikings, the Nordin set sail for America in 1980, and almost upon arrival, achieved phenomenal success. It's been satisfying, and it's been fun.
The racing there is very rough indeed, and there's a lot of incidents every time, so I really enjoy it here. It's like vacation to come to this country and drive, because everything is so straight from the beginning, and you know exactly, and you know, since I'm racing in the Grand Circuit, and we all know each other that are racing there, so we know more or less what to do automatically, and it's very nice.
Ja, det var ingen större fara, det var just det att första trippen bara så drog hon det ordentligt.
What's next, you might ask? Are there more lands to conquer? Yesterday Scandinavia, today North America, tomorrow the world.
Me and my brother is doing one thing now. We're opening up, or have already opened up, a branch in Italy, training stable there. And if things goes right, we will be able to provide for our owners the opportunity to bring horses over to that country to race and maybe to sell them there. And we also have access to the European Grand Circuit, because we're going to be more or less in the middle of things from Milan, where we are stationed right now.
Checking current odds, Mack Lobell is a big 70-1, 30-1 on Manor Victory. As you can see, Buckfinder 5-2, getting some play at the mutual windows, and even money for number 8 Mack Lobell, Trotters at 4.5, and a big price of 16 on Waikiki Beach. Lots of handicapping facets to this race. Alan, what do you think?
Very quickly, one knock against Buckfinder. People have said he can't leave the gate well. I suspect he can leave a whole lot better than he's had to so far. Billy O'Donnell will send him out of there. Trotters should be on the move early, and Mack Lobell very much so in the early action. They're going to leave out of there quick. The fraction should be real fast, and there's going to be a lot of long shots gumming up the works early. Look for Crown Sweep, who is not a real good horse, but likes to leave the gate. Mack Lobell's going to protect his rail position, and I'll tell you something, they should be pretty jammed up early on in the going. But I do think when it comes down to it, Mack Lobell and Buckfinder will be the two horses that will be up there early, and I look for Buckfinder off his month layoff to be relaxed, fit, and ready, and I think he's going to win the Breeders' Crown. Let's go back to Dave Johnson.
And as they get ready for the start of this Breeders' Crown event, we'll go to the top of the stands, and the man who will call the race for you, here is Pompano Park track announcer Gary Seibel.
Mack Lobell, BJ Superstar, and in the second tier, Trotters and Waikiki Beach. They swing around the turn, and this field is in motion. $500,000 on the line in the Breeders' Crown. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Crown Sweep has made a break, going for the lead. At the rail, it's Mack Lobell driving up from the outside. And C. Louis Lomont in between horses right there now. Buckfinder is sent for the early lead. Mack Lobell is in between horses. BJ Superstar is going off 3 wide. Manor Victory hugs the rail. Now on the move on the outside, and that is Neville Olympian. Waikiki Beach is on the inside. Spotlight Lobell is off stride. Trotters is off stride. Quarter goes in 29 seconds flat. And now they come by the stands the first time. Bill O'Donnell hustles Buckfinder to the front, and Buckfinder opens up a length and a half. But here comes world champion Mack Lobell. Mack Lobell now takes the lead for John Campbell. They get to the wood and open up a length and a half. Buckfinder is back to second. Sandman Lobell, lightly regarded, right there, third at the rail. BJ Superstar, followed by Manor Victory and Waikiki Beach, the half in 59 seconds flat. And now they move on to the backstretch. It is Mack Lobell showing the way. Buckfinder is right behind him. Going up third on the outside, BJ Superstar. Sandman Lobell content to stay right there at the rail. On the outside, Manor Victory, followed by Waikiki Beach. Heavily Olympian on the move. Crown Sweep is back on the trot. Sir Torres the rail. And then we come back to Spotlight Lobell. And as they head for the final turn, it is Mack Lobell right behind him, Buckfinder. And now coming up 3 wide on the outside, it is Heavily Olympian, BJ Superstar right there, 3/4 in 1:30 4/5. And as they head for home, it is Mack Lobell. He's the one to catch. Buckfinder, the only one with a chance to get to him. Mack Lobell and John Campbell, they found their best stride. Buckfinder off the rail. They drive to the wire. Mack Lobell, Buckfinder. Here's the battle, but it's Mack Lobell winning in 1:59 1/5.
1:59 1, and those two horses, Mack Lobell and Buckfinder, were about a furlong away from the second and from the third and fourth horses. A tremendous victory. Mack Lobell taking the lead, but right going to the half.
Well, that's a new track record for 2-year-old trotters, Dave. But John Campbell drove a very smart race. He backed off the third quarter. And he went in 31 4. Gave his horse a little bit of breather, trotted home a very fast 28 2. He's cruising to the wire. Billy O'Donnell chasing after him, but just doesn't have enough horse. John Campbell drove an excellent, smart race.
John Campbell, who has had victories in 4 previous Breeders' Crown events, but has been goose eggs in 1986, comes home a winner here this evening with Mack Lobell. I thought he was beaten moving around the far turn, but it was Mack Lobell in 1:59 1, with Buckfinder second and number 7 Neville Olympian third. We'll be back with the official and prices and to talk to the winning driver after this. That's the unofficial winner. It's Mack Lobell. We're waiting for the prices to go up. The time, 1:59 1, not a world record, but a track record here at Pompano. And let's move right now to the winner's circle and Alan with the winning driver.
I'm here with a man who was a regular on this show last year. 4 appearances in the Crown races. This is his first appearance here in the winner's circle this year. John, is this one of the best trotters you've ever driven?
This is the best 2-year-old trotter by far. There's no comparison. He's a real top colt. He's handy. He can race any way you want to.
We're going to go to a replay of this race. Mack Lobell isolated on the camera. We're going to pick things up in front of the 3/8 pole. Billy O'Donnell has made the lead with Buckfinder. He's the main competition, but John Campbell sends his charge to the front. John, when you let him have his head, he looked like he really was sharp tonight.
Yeah, he was real good. When I moved him back to the front, he had a lot of trot. I was pretty sure Billy we'd either have to go real fast or Billy would let me go. And then once I made the front, was able to get the third quarter back down, and then he trotted home real good. Last quarter in 28 apiece, and we never started trotting until well into the stretch.
Back down might be an understatement. 31 4 the 3/4, as a lot of the field was struggling behind him. BJ Superstar's been out a long way. He's going to range up into third now. John, no real challenge there.
No, not really. He wasn't coming that fast, and it just shows how versatile this colt is. I gunned him to the front, and then he just came right back to me, and he was no trouble at all to go third quarter like that.
Now, you know that Mack Lobell holds the world records on a half-mile track and a mile track. You drove him that way. Here's a 5/8 mile track, and maybe he was sharp enough to take one tonight, but backing off the third quarter destroyed those chances. Any ideas why you did that?
Well, Buckfinder was definitely the one to beat, and I didn't want him to run down the third quarter and get tired and get beat at the wire. You look awful foolish doing that. I was more concerned with winning when Buckfinder was on my back.
They're going to make the turn for home here. There's a couple of horses in contention. Neville Olympian starting to range up for George Schulte, but the 2 first horses are going to leave the field in the dust. John, did you have any chance that you were going to get caught here?
No, he felt pretty strong. He trotted right to the wire. The only thing, he will kind of relax and not pay attention, but as long as that other horse was on the outside of him, he felt real strong all the way to the wire.
John Campbell returning to a familiar place. Congratulations. And let's go over to Dave Johnson to recap things.
Well, let's take a look at the light show on the infield after we see that the winner, Mack Lobell, pays $380, $280, and $280. The 5-horse, Buckfinder second at $340 and $280, with Neville Olympian third at $6.40, and to the happy winner's circle and Ellie Serrano.
I'm joined by Maureen Monahan, one of the members of the One More Time stable. Congratulations to you. This horse was a $17,000 purchase as a yearling.
Right.
What made you buy him?
Oh, it was the first crop of Mystic Park, and we thought, Mr. Guida thought that he definitely was going to make a great sire, and he definitely had to have a Mystic Park, so we bought Mack Lobell.
Are you a little disappointed you didn't get the world record?
You're never disappointed when you win, Ellie.
No, never, especially a Breeders' Crown race.
So.
Were you confident going into the race?
Yes, but there were some anxious moments coming down the stretch, but we were confident.
Well, we'd like to give you our congratulations to the One More Time stable, and now back to Dave.
Quite an evening here at Pompano Park. In the infield, Fred Van Lennep, chairman of the board of Pompano, making the trophy presentations. And again, the prices: Mack Lobell, $380, $280, $280, Buckfinder, $340, $280, Neville Olympian, $6.40 for the show spot. Be sure to be with us next Friday for what should be one of the greatest nights in horse racing history as we go to Garden State Park in New Jersey. Not for one, but for 4 Breeders' Crown Championship events. Over $2 million in purses, 2 hours of excitement beginning at our broadcast time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Breeders' Crown 86 has been brought to you by Pompano Park, by Castleton Farm, a tradition of excellence, and by the nationwide investment firm of First Jersey Securities. Come grow with us. Once again, the winner of tonight's Breeders' Crown in 159-1 was Mack Lobell, driven to victory by John Campbell.